Yeah, and you can say that I'm crazy, that you think you're not ready, but I'm telling you, baby. And you can say that I'm crazy, that you think you're not ready.
And now it's time to get unmasked. Please welcome your host, Pamela Elaine Nichols and Cheryl A.S. Haley.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unmasked Real Talk Live. This is the place where we get real about topics not often discussed openly. Each week on Unmasked Real Talk Live, we give you an opportunity to share your thoughts and opinions about the topic we unmask. You have our permission to get real with us here so you can feel better, look better, and live better out there. Of course, stay until the end and be eligible for a special raffle. Today's raffle, I'm so excited, is an autographed copy of our guest's book, Dr. Renai Ellison's new book, Fake to Phenomenal: 8 Secrets to Abandon Inauthenticity and Embrace Self-Discovery. And this is such a cool topic book because we've been talking about authenticity and inauthenticity and being real and being fake for quite a number of sessions, right, Cheryl?
Absolutely.
So this is like the icing on the cake, or maybe it's the air above the icing on the cake or something like that. Anyway, this week's challenge is a fun Live Better challenge.
Yes.
The challenge is to order Dr. Renai's book that she's going to share with us about today. You're going to order this book, and in a few minutes, we will introduce her to you, and we're going to talk in depth about her book. But we promise you this thing. This book is going to help you live better. Now, you all said in the survey that you did that live better is one of your biggest concerns. And Cheryl and I heard you. So we want you to live better. We want to help you live better. So here's the challenge. You got to order Dr. Renai's book before Tuesday of next week when we come back again live. And you have to share a post of yourself holding the book. Okay? Now you can purchase the book from Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and Books A Million. Okay. All right. So in here in the chat, please, in this time together, please post your comments below as we unmask today's topic. Ask your questions so our special guest, Dr. Renai Ellison, can join us in laser coaching you as we go along. All right, Cheryl.
All righty. Again, welcome to this conversation. We're so excited. Now, today's topic is the value of relationship, community, and connection when cultivating authenticity. Now, our special guest with us today is none other than our friend and our sister, Dr. Renai Ellison. And we are so excited that she's in this space. She's been one of our students with our Think Again e-course, and Pam and I deposited a word into her life, and she has been doing just that since. And that word was elevate. So we are honored that she's in this space, that she's sharing this space with us to just impart some wisdoms. Now, Dr. Renai Ellison is the founder and CEO of Embrace Life Enterprises, not company, but check this out, y'all. Enterprises. And it's what she does is that she helps you discover the most authentic, captivating, phenomenal you. So we are, when I say excited, Pamela Elaine and I are extremely excited. Renai and I share a common bond that we love. We love quotes by Maya Angelou. And the quote that we're going to open up before we give the reins to her is, I am a woman, and I'm going to say it with attitude. I am a woman phenomenally phenomenal woman, that's me. And that's a quote by Maya Angelou. And we're hoping in this next few moments that we spend together, when you leave us at 2 o'clock this afternoon, that you will say with attitude, I am a woman. Phenomenally phenomenal woman, that's me. Dr. Renai Ellison, we turn it over to you. Yes.
I'll tell you what, you two really know how to get to my heart, to my soul. As you start to talk about our experience that we had in the Think Again program, when I took the Think Again program that Pamela and Cheryl led, they did give me that word elevate. And as they were sharing that, all I kept thinking of was the scripture that says, humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up. And I am just so humbled by this opportunity to be here on this show and to be amongst friends and sisters who I know without a shadow of a doubt love me, and who I love with every fiber of my being. I am so excited to be able to talk about my book, From Fake to Phenomenal. As many of you know, who have followed me on social media or who just know me personally, it is a memoir and a personal development book. The first part of the book is the first part of each chapter is a little story about me and my journey towards self-discovery and my understanding of how to really tap into the importance of community connection and relationship, which is what this show is all about. And then at the end of the chapter, what we do is we kind of take you, the reader, on that self-discovery journey. So you have an opportunity, after you learn a little bit about me, to reflect on my story. Because how many of you know that when someone shares their story, if there's something about their story that resonates with you, that's a learning opportunity for you to really be able to glean. That's what the Bible is. The Bible is a book of stories, right? Book of people just like you and me, right? Who make mistakes and do things not always the right way. But for centuries, we've been learning from those stories. So I wanted to really present this memoir as an opportunity for you, not just to learn about me, but to also dig deep and to be able to cultivate that self-discovery journey. And then I give you phenomenal thoughts to ponder, which are basically just journal prompts, open-ended questions. I kind of tap into my coaching background and allow you space, actual line space in the book. It's a workbook. It's an interactive workbook where you can respond to the questions that I'm asking and kind of coach you through those 8 chapters.
So this is so exciting to hear. And I want to know, Renai, has this book been in you for a long time? And if so, when did you actually decide, you know what, I'm going to do this? I'm going to do this thing. And why choose such a vulnerable topic? So those 3 things.
You know what? That question about vulnerability, I'm actually going to tap onto that first, because I think that kind of really answers the 3-part question that you just asked. I have always wanted to write a book. I have always loved to write. I was a journalism major when I was an undergrad. I enjoy journaling, have for many decades, and always thought about writing a book. It was always kind of a bucket list thing. But a little over a year ago, I was let go from a role that I really loved. I was working in leadership for a nonprofit, and they fired me. I'm not talking like downsize, end of contract. This is not working out. No, they were like, you're done, right? So it was harsh. It was cold. It was hurtful. It was painful. And especially because the irony of the situation was that I really, truly was doing my best work. Not I thought I was doing my best work. Not people told me. I knew that I was doing my best work and I was really making significant change. And what I recognized from that experience was just how angry I was and how resentful and how bitter I felt. And so I wanted to write a scathing book that darts at them and called them out and made them look bad and talked about them and ran them down and made them feel as bad as I felt. That was my initial feeling. And then, and I also, because I felt so betrayed, I wanted to entitle the book The Judas Kiss, right? So this is how melodramatic I was getting, right? So fast forward, I was touched, I guess, by God's presence, and He reminded me, of my intention when I was doing this work. And my intention when I was doing this work was to really be able to lead like the greatest leader of all times, and that's Jesus. And we all kind of know what happened to him, right? So crucifixion, sometimes that those trials and those tribulations are all a part of the journey, but it's the hardest part to embrace. So I decided a few weeks after I made that, decision to write the book, that I wanted to kind of shift the energy a little bit. And I wanted it to be a memoir that would not only serve as a memoir to tell my story, but to help people really tap into their own story and to really be able, like we learned in Think Again, to kind of rewrite our story. That our life is the story, right?
Yeah.
That we tell ourselves. We tell ourselves that we were betrayed and that we were crucified and that we were hurt and that we were harmed and that they're evil, bad people. That's the story that we are going to live. But if we decide to flip it,
yes,
like the man, our Lord, right, our God, the way He flipped it, He took that pain and that harshness and that cruelty and that evil, and He turned it around for good. And I can only be so humble as to think that one person reading From Fake to Phenomenal and flipping through those pages and reading those 8 secrets will learn one thing that'll make a difference in their life, something that they didn't know before, and shift and be able to live better, like the women who took your survey want to.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. It seems to me there's a big gap between fake and then phenomenal. And I guess your book is all about closing the gap, maybe, so that or getting across the bridge. I really don't know how to explain it, but there seems to be a big chasm between those two. How do you get from fake to phenomenal?
Honestly, Pam, like it's a mindset shift. Because just like Cheryl was talking about when she talked about Maya Angelou's poem, that's kind of where the phenomenal word came from. The first time I ever really embraced that idea of being a phenomenal woman was I was maybe an undergrad, and I heard that poem for the first time. Maya Angelou wrote it in the 1970s. I can't remember the exact year, but she wrote this poem. And basically, if you really read the word for word, the poem, what she's talking about is a woman who's not the prettiest. She doesn't have the best body. She's not necessarily the wealthiest, but there is something about her.
Yes.
There is something about her spirit that when she walks in a room, all eyes are on her. And I remember when I read that poem, I thought, that's what I want to be. I want to be phenomenal. Like, I'll never be the prettiest. I'll never be the thinnest. I'll never be the smartest. I'll never be but I can be my own unique, phenomenal self. And so that's where the phenomenal part came from. And the fake part, that journey, that chasm, like you talk about, Pam, from fake to phenomenal, really started in my early years when I started prioritizing winning and success as the most important thing for me to achieve. So I wrapped my identity around the clothes I wore, the man I dated, the school I attended, the degree I earned, the job I got, the promotion I received. And then on the flip side of that, the clothes I couldn't afford, the man that didn't want me, the school that rejected me and didn't accept me, the friend who betrayed me. So it goes both ways, so that when you are identifying with that positive stuff, you're also identifying with that negative stuff. And that's where the fakeness starts to happen, because all your identity is wrapped up into external validation.
Yes.
We're looking for accolades, we're looking for awards, we're looking for achievements, right? It's so ironic that all those words start with A. We want to be A game, right? A game, acknowledgments, awards, achievements, accolades, acceptance. All those words start with A, right? We want to be on our A game. What happens when we're on our A game and that's all we focus on? We travel down that road of inauthenticity. And so that's what the book is all about.
Yeah.
And you know what? All those things that you just shared, Renee, that begin with an A, none of it leads to the thing that's most important, which is authenticity. And they're all the A words. And sometimes when you think about it, when we talk about just the topic, the value of relationship, none of that leads you towards relationship that's authentic or genuine, which is something that we've talked about previously. None of it builds community, but what it does, it gets in the way of us creating a connection where we can really, truly cultivate authenticity. And for those who have not yet gotten the book yet, could you just tell us a little snippet or share a little bit when you talk about cultivating authenticity? How can we do that as a community?
Yeah. So when I was in my doctoral program, I did a dissertation, and Cheryl knows I interviewed 10 Black women ministry leaders. And what I wanted to try to get an idea of was what drove them to want to be in ministry, to serve in that way, and to tell me a little bit about the women they serve. So long story short, after months of research and writing, I synthesized this qualitative narrative study, which is, telling a story. And I uncovered in my research that there are three things that all women that I interviewed and the women that they serve value: community, connection, and relationship.
I have chills. Oh my goodness. Chills. Wow.
Because somewhere right in our inner soul, we all knew that the case, but that's the beauty of education and research, is that you get to actually prove it, right? When you do the research and you do the study and you come up with these findings. So there was something foundational about that discovery that really helped me to not only shift the way I thought about my life, shift the way I thought about my company, shift the way I thought about my ministry, and shift the way I thought about myself. And everything changed, as you all know, in the blink of an eye. And yeah, so that was the foundation of it: the community, connection, and relationship.
Wow.
Well, that leads us to the unmasked question that we need to get to. And oh my goodness, look at the time.
No, it's
So let's get to the unmasked question,
Was I babbling? Sorry.
which is, who has God? No, you're good.
No, you're good.
God called you to be, and what has He purposed you to do? This is the unmasked question. We're going to ask our listeners to please put into the chat, do you know? And if you know, can you share? Who has God called you to be, and what has God purposed you to do? Now, Renee, we're going to actually ask you if you would unmask that question for us. Who has God called you to be, Dr. Renee, and what has God purposed you to do?
Mhm. It really goes back to one of my secrets that's in the book. When I answer the "Who has God called you to be" part. Several years ago in 2014, I went back to school again. This is before I got my doctorate, to get certified as a life and leadership coach at the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. And what I learned in that program, and it's in the book, is the importance of vulnerability, sensitivity, compassion, and empathy. My whole life, I always thought that my kindness was my weakness.
Wow.
Because that was the message that I was given by the people that I was in community with. You need to be tougher, you need to be stronger, you need to be spine of steel.
Yeah.
Care less. Be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Do your thing, Renee.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about the people. People don't care about you. Girl, put yourself first. You don't need a man. All this stuff we tell ourselves, right? Right. So eventually, I went to coaching school and I learned, hey, vulnerability, sensitivity, compassion, and empathy are strengths.
Yeah.
Kindness is a strength. So that's what God has called me to be. God has called me to be vulnerable.
Yes.
I love it. We
God
actually have, I
I'm
love
sorry. Please.
No,
go
I
right
love that God has called you to be vulnerable. That is deep. I've never heard it put that way. We have a couple people who've made some comments in
Okay.
the comment section. Can we offer it to you? Sure, you want to grab the
Sure.
first one?
I see the first one. Someone says that God has called me to lead and help others.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And we have another one that says he has called me to be a creative soul and has purposed me with youth ministry. For those creatives, the church has let go. Woo!
And then they came back and said, he's also called me to leadership, no matter how hard they're fighting it, no matter how hard they fight it against it, because they felt like they couldn't lead.
I love that. I love that. Whoever that is, I love your thinking. And I'm going to tell you why. The word leadership has resonated with me my whole life.
Yes.
When I was a child, I was bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother said to me when I was a little girl, she said, Renee, you have a choice. You can use your size to an advantage and you can lead, or you can use your size to a disadvantage and you can be a bully like the kids are bullying you on the playground. So I chose the leadership option.
Wow.
And it's a spiritual gift. I never realized that until several years ago, but kudos to that person who put that in the chat.
Yeah.
Yes, kudos. Okay, so we're gonna start wrapping it up here. Time goes by so fast, and we could talk to you all day. Can you give us the 3 takeaways to walk in authenticity?
Yes. So 3 things that I've already mentioned: community. My pastor Darius Daniels says you can't be your best self by yourself. You need a community. You need people in your life. You can't be a loner. You can't do it alone. The second is connection. Having people around you, but not being connected to those people is empty and it's inauthentic. Be vulnerable enough to embrace the people that God has put in your circle. And then finally, relationship. I'm an only child and I love the idea of having sisters who are not biologically my sisters. And I have 2 right here on this call. And also caring, being able to weave that into relationship is so important. And one of the things that my church, Change Church, prioritizes is community connection and caring. So it's kind of aligned with my principles and values. And I'll be leading a women's online group starting tonight. So for those of you who are interested in going to to the group, definitely get on the website, lifechange.org, and go to groups and singles. It's for single women, and register for the group. We start at
Yes.
6:30 tonight.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
Okay, Cheryl, what do we have up next
So,
now? Thank you
what
for
we're
that,
going to do
Renee.
now, Renee, thank you so much for your sharing and those awesome takeaways. What we're getting ready to do now is we're going to do our raffle as our producer gets ready to launch it. Today, we are raffling off Renee's new book, Fake to Phenomenal. I already got my copy, so you have opportunity to get yours. So let's see who the lucky winner is going to be.
I hope it's me. I'm not in the raffle, but I hope it's me.
Is it Danielle?
Oh, that's awesome.
Congratulations. Oh, wonderful,
Okay.
wonderful.
Now, if Danielle already has the book, she got to give it to somebody else. Renee, sorry, Danielle, if you already have that book, you need to give it to somebody else. No, but congratulations. This is great. Renee, we are so grateful that you spent this time with us to impart your story, your wisdom, your takeaways, and then, of course, giving the book a signed copy to our raffle winner. I have learned so much from you, and particularly that God can actually call you to vulnerability. Like that, that is a huge change in the way I see vulnerability. And Cheryl and I, we use that word all the time when we're talking and when we're coaching and so forth. Whole new spin on it. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kayla J, our producer. And remember, the challenge, ladies, is to get the book before next Tuesday and post a picture of yourself holding Dr. Renee Ellison's new book that you can get on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Books A Million. So be sure to grab that. Next week, we're going to have another special guest, surprise guest, and that guest is not a woman. Oh,
Imagine that.
but we thank you so much and have a great rest of the week, ladies. And we love you. Thanks, Renee. Love you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Love you all. Have a great week.
Bye.